Good evening, everybody. So about delays, a few gremlins in the system. I say it's just going to be quite a short stream tonight. I've had a very, very busy weekend with everything going on. It's just myself at the moment. I'm not sure if Paul's going to be popping in, but we shall see in the next 15 to 30 minutes. So I'm just going to crack on with it straight away, to be honest with you. Let's bring up the latest charts up from the Met Office if my system will let me. Okay, Hodge, that's a bit rude of me not to say hello to you all, so I do apologise. So let's just run through who's here this evening. So good evening to Laura Johnson. Thank you for coming in. Rachel's coming in. Your yellow loving friend who loves you all so much has entered the arena, same thing. Thank you so much, Laura, for joining. Sorry, Rachel, for joining us. Good evening to Alan Smith. And also Ben as well. Thank you for coming in tonight. I said this is not going to be a very good live tonight. It's just going to be a very quick one. Good evening to Paul James, who's with us this evening. Thank you for popping in, one of our spammers. Scrolling down the chat. Good evening to Steffi. Good evening to Steffi. Oh, I've got a bit of feedback here. Good evening to Steffi. Oh, I've got a bit of feedback here. That's why. For some reason, I've got the... I thought I could hear my own voice again, but it turns out it was on my phone, actually. Thank goodness that stopped. Who else have we got in this evening? Let's scroll down the comments. Good evening to Lee Stevens. Thank you for coming in this evening. Good evening to Matthew. You know, all the news headlines Man U go through in the FA Cup and the cold swell comes to an end. It's good news for Man United. It was a shame for Tamworth that got knocked out by Tottenham today, my hometown. I was happy to be just across the way from the ground earlier on today while that match was going on. Hear the crowd from across the river. It's a shame we lost an extra time. We could have had a away tie to Aston Villa, which would have been a good match. Scroll down. Good evening, Audio Coffee. Good evening to suit you, sir. Taft did play well. Didn't see them. I just seen bits of the match when I was at the soft play earlier on. I think I've just got down to the bottom of the chat, so I'm just going to crack on with it tonight. Start from that there. Just dropped below freezing here in the last few minutes. Yesterday, my highest temperature yesterday was actually, I think, minus 1.8, which I think was the first time in a while where temperature got above zero here. It was a very cold day here. We had freezing fog, literally lasting all day before it started lifting just after dark. I'm happy that Tottenham won. I'm not. Tamworth would have beaten Spurs. Tamworth would have been at away to Aston Villa, which would have been a local derby. Actually, yeah, good point. Who actually had snow last week? News that it settled for most of the week. I think we had it settled for about a few hours, then it went again. on the back end of that system I went through, I think, on Sunday night. So I'm just going to go through the FACS charts. As I haven't really got nothing planned at all, as I have a very busy weekend, as it was my birthday yesterday. I had a lot going on, and I've been busy today with my daughter, my family. So currently we have got high pressure set towards the southeast of the UK. Winds are now coming up from the southwest. We've lost that cold air, got mild air in force. What's going to happen in the next 24 hours? I have no idea because I've been so busy. We've got a weak weather front coming across the UK into the high pressure. I'm guessing it would mostly be a band of cloud coming through. And there's actually a cold front straddling across the UK. I reckon that bumping into the high with nothing much more than maybe a few spots of rain, if anything, but more of a band of cloud. So even though we've got high pressure in charge, it's going to seem like plenty of clouds around. With high pressure still sitting there through until Wednesday, it should remain high and dry, if not a lot of cloud around. And we've just got weather front going across the north of the UK. But yeah, as we get into Thursday with the Met Office FACS charts, high pressure stays towards the south, and we are bringing up these winds up from the southwest, which will keep things much milder than they have been recently. Okay, let's have a look at the UKV just to confirm these. See if there's any precipitation around. Just try to lose that banner. So these is the high resolution precipitation charts. And that this takes us through into Monday. So there's that weather front coming across parts of Scotland to northern England through Ireland as well. That's slowly moving towards the southeast, but which is fizzling out as we go through into Monday night. As mentioned, by the time it gets through into Monday night, it is really dying a death, and you'll probably be some patches of rain or drizzle as we're going to Tuesday morning. It remains the threat through into Tuesday as well. So I was like, there will be plenty of cloud around with a few spots of rain or drizzle here and there. Then into Wednesday, looks like a bit of a heavier pulse of rain coming into Scotland, but as that goes into the high pressure, it fizzles away, and the pulse coming to the far northwest of Scotland, and that starts to push towards the north. And the attempt to bring another weather front down, but yet coming into the high pressure, it just dies a death as well. Temperatures. Much warmer than they have been recently. Temperatures have got to about 4 or 5 during the day across much of England and Wales. And overnight tonight, temperatures, depending on how much clear skies you have, will probably stay just above freezing where you've got the clear skies or any freezing fog. Temperatures might hover around 0 or 1 degree to start Monday morning. Much milder across North Scotland. And through the day on Monday, temperatures again still in the single digits, but much warmer than that. Well, warmer than it has been much of the back end of last week. Still parts of Scotland, northern England, getting close to double digits, and across much of Ireland are in double digits. Going through into Tuesday. We are looking much more than we have been recently. Much of the UK into the high single digits and coming into the double digits. Into Wednesday. Again, we're looking at around about mid-single digits, perhaps a few degrees lower. And potentially some patchy frost there for Thursday morning, depending if you've got clear skies or not. So some places would get to about -3, -4. But as you can tell, with the patchiness of this, it again depends on how much cloud breaks there is. So to me, it looks like there's going to be plenty of cloud around into during this week. That takes us to the hours of Friday morning. Let's have a look at the GFS. So let's have a look at the upper air temperatures and sea level pressure charts with the latest GFS model. Again, all that cold air is getting pushed away into Central Europe. We've started to get onto the milder side of the jet. So if I bring up the jet stream now, actually, you can see what is going on. So all the cold air we've had recently is actually moving into Europe now. We're coming into the warm side of the jet. Still strong jet towards the eastern side of the UK, but that's getting pushed away with this ridge coming up from the south west. So I'll play that forward. You see that the jet stream is pushing towards our north, introducing this milder air with high pressure towards our south. We stay on the mild side of the jet. Potentially, we've got a cut-off flow forming there towards Iberia to southern France. Then we've got another strong jet coming in across towards the Azores. We're still on that warm side of the jet as we head into next weekend. What happens from going forward? Looks like the jet is split into two of this high pressure towards Central Europe. We've got an arm of the jet going towards the north, and we've got another arm of the jet going through the Mediterranean. Then going into days 9 and 10, we've got a powerful jet coming out of America. So could this stir things up later on in the computer models? When I say a powerful jet, we're talking well over 200, probably 220 to 250 miles an hour coming out of America there. So if any weather systems comes through that, we could see some really big major storms coming through with that. So we'll have a look at the chart actually at the end. With a very powerful jet like that, it will cause potentially some storms actually. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the sea level pressure charts and see what that does with the jet does to these systems as that picks up in days 10 and 11. So there's the high pressure sitting towards the south of the UK through this week. Keeping things mostly dry. As I said, you've got some weather fronts coming down from the northwest, bumping into that high pressure. It'll just fizzle it out and we'll just sit with plenty of cloud around. So this could potentially be a bit of a dirty high, really. Not much in the way of sunshine, but remaining dry. Rainfall will be very minimal. So even if we go into next weekend, we've still got high pressure sat over Europe, and we're got this warm air coming up from this. I say warmish air. I think that air's quite warm there. Actually, I think it's quite cool then. Yes, with the cold air coming around through Central Europe, we're actually picking up cooler air instead of warmer air from the near continent as we turn to a southerly. So we've got cooler air coming up from the south, which is a bit unusual. Normally, air coming up from the south, we associate it with being much warmer, but not the case through into next weekend. Let's bring back the sea level pressure charts. I think it was days right about this time that the jet stream really starts picking up. Let's see if anything does form with the powerful jet stream. So we've got this strong area of low pressure forming there in the mid-Atlantic. Will that interact with the jet? While this one here is. So will that get any close to the UK? You can see with that strong jet we saw on the charts, it's really powering up this major storm in the mid-Atlantic. So that could be a glancing below there. We've still got high pressure set towards Eastern Europe, just stopping the progression of these low pressure systems. It's looking quite windy as we head towards the end of January. And as we get to the end of the charts, we've got this forming here that's going to cross the jet. This could really blow up into a big system. So something to keep an eye on there. We've got a very powerful jet coming out of America in about a week to 10 days' time. Obviously, still a lot to play for between now and then, but potentially the second half of January could start turning quite lively again. And with these current GFS charts, I'll look at the 6Z in just a moment. We're not seeing much of cold air coming down at all. Let's straight forward. You see we're under relatively mild air. So into next weekend, we'll just pick up a bit of a southerly, which happens to drag them a bit of cooler air up from the south. We remain in the greens. So nothing too mild, nothing too cold. And this is where we start seeing the jet streams picking up these areas of low pressure. And seems to be a lot of cold air coming out of Canada through days 11 and 12. So we've got the minus 20 degree isotherm. So it's no wonder the jet stream is really packing a punch. So it's probably space of a few hundred miles. You've got minus 20 degree isotherm with a minus 10 just down here. And that's why we're seeing this very strong jet stream. And even more so here for the more of a gradient between these two areas here. So we can see why that jet stream is very powerful coming out of the US. So it's just seeing how far down that minus 15 degree isotherm is coming into the mid-Atlantic. So it's quite far south compared to normal. Let's have a look at the 6Z run, see if that has a very similar theme. I'll bring up the jet stream as well, see if that's showing another powerful jet stream. So again, we're on the warm side of the jet through this week. That hasn't shown as strong of a jet stream coming out of America on this morning's run. Still, again, got high pressure across Europe, and the split in the jet stream. One arm going up towards Norway, Scandi, another going towards the Mediterranean and through into North Africa. That's showing another powerful jet stream coming out. Yes, it was about days 10, wasn't it? So there's that temperature gradient with the -15 to -20 isotherm and a +10 in this region here, really fueling this jet stream here. So again, with that key there, with the whites, we're looking at least 220, perhaps even 260 mile per hour wind gusts in the jet stream. And if anything was to cross this, it will spin these systems up into quite major features. And that's literally going right across the UK on this run as well. We've got another powerful jet coming out of America at the end of this run. Let's take a look at the sea level pressure charts on this 6 o'clock run. So once again, there's that high pressure sat over towards the south of the UK. Things mostly dry across much of the UK while away from northwest of Scotland. That high pressure is just sitting there over Central Europe, influencing our weather through into next weekend. Low pressure does look like it's trying to make inroads as we go into days 8. So high pressure gets pushed over towards Eastern Europe, and things could turn a bit more unsettled as we head into next weekend. But this is where we start seeing that powerful jet coming out of America. We've got quite a strong west to southwesterly there as we head into days 11 and 12. We've got this feature coming up there towards the south of the UK as we head into days 12 and 13. And this is where we start seeing these little lows, if they cross the jet, into quite powerful features. So obviously it's something we need to keep an eye on. And this looking like we're looking at gales, so severe gales, if that was to come off. We're down to around about 960 millibars on that Sunday, and it's still dropping. So if that was to come off, obviously we're 2 weeks away. More likely that would be a named storm, but we can't really say that right now because we're in the most unreliable time frame. And if more of these low pressures cross that jet stream, we're going to keep seeing more lows spin up. And even by getting to days 16, 17, we've got a strong southwesterly. So if I put on the wind gust through this time, so it's looking relatively calm for this week. So let's fast forward that. So let's go towards days 30 and 14. So there's days 12. So we'll start seeing the wind start picking up there. So it goes there about 40 miles an hour. And this is where we'll start seeing wind start gusting. Wind speeds up there to 50, 60 miles an hour. Obviously now we're going to 2 weeks away. And there's the first potential storm. Gale force winds going across the UK. Adds towards the west. Get winds going to severe gales, force to severe gales crossing the UK in 2 weeks' time. Then a brief respite before potentially another storm coming in from the west. Let's bring up the latest charts from the GFS. Again, fast forward it 2 weeks' time. So potentially, it's not showing too much actually on this one, is it? So it looks like the latest one is not as stormy as what we just saw with this morning's run. Temperature-wise, let's have a quick look at these and just like the resolution temperatures for this week, around about the mid to high single digits, perhaps going to double digits in a few locations. And again, high single digits, perhaps 10, 11 degrees in some areas. Around about the same for the rest of this week. So around about average for this time of year, really, we're looking at it's about 6 to 10 degrees across the UK. Maybe it's like a few degrees lower for next Saturday with that cooler air coming up from the south. Bringing temperatures around about low to mid single digits. So temperatures, I say, looking around about average compared to what we've had last week or two, once we've had all that snow and frost. And even looking towards day 11, 12, 13, temperatures around about the average mark, nothing too significant. Looking as the weather should be, really. So I'm just going to put my head back into the comments. Looks like you'll talk amongst yourselves there from what I can see. Comment there from James. Coldest for me since 2018. 2010 was minus 20.4. I don't think that will be anytime soon. Looking at those charts we saw, you never know what we had this past week could be our coldest part of the winter. We just don't know, do we? I think the lowest temperature we've got here this past week was, I think, around about 6.8, minus 6.8 degrees. I'm guessing if we had laying snow around, it would have been a lot colder than that, but we didn't. And 6.8 might have been our coldest night in about 2-3 years. I think it was a couple of winters ago. Well, I think it did get to about minus 8.6 here. Oh, by the way, good evening, James. By the way, I've realised you just come in there. Yeah, Matthew's saying it's looking very zonal. So it looks like it could be, as it stands at the minute, it looks like this next week or so will be quite dry. Then looks like things was really going to start picking up coming into weeks 3 and 4 of January. It says it's going to be hit by some strong winds. Still too early to say as yet, but potential is there. It could start turning quite lively as we're heading into the second half of January. But something we need to keep an eye on. That jet stream looks like it is getting a huge boost coming out of America. Let me see if I can bring this tab up. I'm surprised that my everything's still working as I speak. He says, "Oh, for a moment now. I thought I was having problems. So let's head over to the ECMWF weekly anomaly chart, see what they're showing. Helps if I get in the right tab. So this is from the ECMWF. These are the weekly mean anomalies. This is between the 13th of January to the 20th of January. And no surprise, like we've shown you, we've got high pressure. This has got a bit further north compared to what it really is. We're seeing mostly just a bit south, but obviously this is a weekly anomaly over the weekend, not for a couple of days. So high pressure established across the UK, plenty of dry weather around, and more of a south to southwesterly on this. 20th of January to 27th, we see that high pressure getting pushed further towards the east of Europe and more low pressure starting to establish south across towards Iceland. And this flow, we're on a bit of a southerly flow on this. 27th to the 3rd of February, we've got low pressure towards the northwest of the UK. Still got high pressure towards the far east of Europe going into Russia. We're under southwesterly winds on that. The 3rd of February towards the 10th, we've got high pressure, it's like returning towards Central Europe. We're still in that west to southwesterly flow. 10th of February to the 17th, we've got high pressure still across Central Europe into the mid-Atlantic, and we're still showing a zonal westerly, really, across the UK. And the 17th February to 2024, we're still looking at the same kind of signal. So what does that show us in the precipitation? With no surprise of high pressure across, we're much drier than average across the UK. 20th to 27th, we're at about average with some wetter, a bit wetter towards the west on that. The 27th to the 3rd of February, we're looking slightly wetter than average across much of the UK. The 3rd to the 10th, we're looking around average, perhaps slightly wetter towards the northwest of Scotland and parts of Ireland. 10th of February to 17th, again looking the same for the same areas. And right at the end, we're looking around the average. Then again, still looking a bit wetter towards the northwest of Scotland. The 2 meter temperatures. Meter temperatures, we're looking around average towards the from Midlands southwards through into parts of Wales and southern areas of the UK. And it's actually looking a bit colder actually towards much of Europe, really, under that high pressure. So I did mention during that Saturday, there's a bit cooler air coming up from the south, and that would be a reason why. So there's some of this cooler air will drift up through into the weekend, just dropping the temperatures down to the low single digits again. 20th to 27th, we're looking a bit warmer than average across the UK. 27th to the 3rd of February, again, we're looking above average. 3rd of February to the 10th, once again, we're above average. 10th to 17th, above, and again, no change from 17th to 24th. So if you have any cold air to return, it's not looking good at this stage. Again, potentially what we've had this past week could be the coldest spell of the whole winter. Let's see that those charts. And what's making me think now? Let's have a look. Actually, the GFS stratospheric temperatures. See if how they're looking at the moment. Any signs on SSW this winter? Whoops, let's start again. So obviously if I share that tab, wouldn't it, instead of me doing that? I'd share that tab instead. So these are the 30 HPA stratospheric temperatures across, looking down from the North Pole. At the moment, temperatures are around about minus 75 to 80 as we speak. We've got this bit of warming towards the Russian side of the world. We do see a bit of warming. Temperatures go up to minus 30 degrees across the Pacific side. Does that make any inroads to the North Pole? It does put a bit of pressure on, but the warm temperatures do not last. They go back to around about minus 45 to 50. And there's not really much pressure on the PV. It's just displacing it slightly towards the European side. Do we see any further warmings? Not significantly, perhaps a tiny bit, but nothing significant to produce an SSW. That's from the latest run. Let's have a look at the 6 o'clock run, see if it's got anything different. So there's that slight warming towards the Russian Pacific side. That puts a bit of pressure on the PV, pushing, slightly displacing it. We're not quite good into the North Pole. And do we see any further warming? Slightly, but it's really elongating that PV. So it does try to split it there, but I think most of it's going back towards the Atlantic side. The Atlantic side of the world. So that will not be a split of the PV. It's just more like squeeze it down towards the Atlantic side. And we have potentially another go at a bit of warming there towards the Russian side. So that's something we're keeping an eye on for the next month or so. See if the PV gets affected by the SSW, which is no really major signs for at this stage. Okay, so what we're doing now, 25 past 8. I'm going to perhaps start winding down again because I think that's everything I've got ready for you this week. As I said, I've not really planned anything because I've had such a busy weekend. Just quickly go through comments, see if I've missed anything. I believe Gav wasn't live tonight, so I've heard from somebody. I'm guessing he's not well again. We'll come back on the comments from Mod James. Hey, the mod Gondor, it's much milder here, and the snow is melting away. It's basically a 23-degree rise in another 48 hours. Bloody hell. Just a slight difference in temperature in 2 days. A 23-degree rise. That's like middle of summertime having a frost, then temperatures reaching like the mid-20s by the time you get to the afternoon. Just going to scroll down. Ben said, I don't think we get an SSW I've got a feeling we won't. Last year was a bit of a strange one because we kept getting these slight warmings, having about, I think it must have about 3 or 4 times during the season last year. But I don't expect to see anything like what we got last year. All right, I think I'll start winding it up there. Let's put a generic banner up there. Let's remove the what's name. I'm back on full screen. Hello. So yeah, depending if Gav's feeling a lot better, don't forget to join Gav's Weather Vids live on Wednesdays and Sundays if he's feeling better, and we'll say we're changing the possible change it going forward to 7:30. But as I said, we'll keep updated every week on that. So apologies for the delayed start and the poor live that we did do tonight. But no doubt things will start getting better soon. Obviously, the one thing we're so I thought I can hear dripping water. I haven't got a leak anywhere. Need to investigate that. Just hoping it's something vibrating and not leaking. And if I need to investigate that noise, it does sound like water dripping. Yeah, thank you to our moderators for popping in tonight and helping us. Thank you for everybody to join us. Now I said sorry about the poor live, but let's see what this jet stream does next week and how it will affect any low pressure systems and start spinning up a few systems. If that's the case, things will start picking up here at Weather Fans. Again, thank you so much for joining me this evening. And we'll see you next week. So I think it's time to end the live there. Shall I wait for that comments from our Steffi? Unless I've missed it. So again, apologies for a poor live stream tonight. I can only apologise. Hopefully we should get back to normal next week. All right, thank you for watching, guys. And I'll see you next week. Ta-ra for now.